Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger, and I'm going to get right to it. Hi, I'm Jermaine. And contrary to what you heard, it's not my fault. It was never my fault. I'm going to come back to this point. Black men, to make a long story short, you've already heard about the exonerations. We've heard the stereotypes for decades, and within the last decade, we've been hearing the exonerations from these negative stereotypes. The CDC, various undergraduate and graduate students' studies at various universities have exonerated us of certain things. Turns out we're not lazy. It turns out that we do face job discrimination. It turns out we're not the worst fathers. It turns out that we want to be married, that we believe in family. It turns out that we actually don't want to just have babies and abandon them. It turns out that all of these things that Sapphire's been sitting up on Oprah and saying are not true. That it's all a mother cuss word lie. It turns out that we're not just bums and we don't earn money and we just look for the black woman to earn money so that we can take her money. It turns out that that stuff is not really the case. It turns out that most of us aren't even fathers. And most of us who are fathers were married and living with the mother at the time of the birth. But more importantly, in the age of social media, the confessions of the Sapphire on her own social media accounts and platforms have also further exonerated us. She's just incorrigible and she's proud to be. She got attitude, and damn it, you need to take her as she is with all her kids. And Brittany Renner sat up in her car years ago and complained about sleeping with 8 regular guys that couldn't fuck the shuck up because they smashed. But then she turned around and started bragging about all of the celebrities she smashed because that's okay. Then years later, she sat in her car again and pointed to the empty car seat behind her and said, "It's stepdad season." Why? And now Brittany can't get anything from men, even a ding-a-ling. And she knows when those child support payments dry the up. She done already been through a year. She knows that when that baby turns 18, it's over. What is she going to do then? And she can't save money. So what's going to have to happen? Brittany is just one example of many. It wasn't Jermaine's fault. You've been blamed and you've been exonerated again and again. And I think that part is already understood. I mean, you've been through enough to where I can summarize it and say that. So we can skip all of the details of that and go straight to the next thing. I am Jermaine, but you also are Jermaine. It is not my fault and it is not yours. It was not my fault and it was not yours. But damn it, from now on, let's start making it ours. Embracing being the bad guy, as attorney Dennis Sperling has advised. Not really because we're going to do harm, but because we're going to do that which they perceive as being the most harmful. Abandon them. I'm saying to you to become the bad guy by abandoning them. One of the reasons I'm saying that is because it is worse than what I thought. I was thinking initially that men in their 20s were the ones that were going to not want black women based on the phenotype, first based on the attitude, and then later on conditioning them or becoming conditioned to no longer want the phenotype. What I found is that it is happening to men even in the 30s. And then I found that it is even happening to me. Now, my wife is black. She's from the continent. There's some things that will be considered to be exotic in her phenotype, and she's still recognizably a black woman. But I'm going to tell you now that at this point, even I am not capable. If she said, black, bye, thank you, it's over, okay, I'd have to accept that. But I'm not capable of turning around and then going to someone who has a wide nose and big lips and 4C hair. Not possible. And it is not because the entire continent is this way. It's not that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just think that I've become incapable, and I still am. It's a possibility that I'm wrong, but you know what? I'm not able to imagine that. Now, this is even after my experience with a North African whose phenotype was like mine. I've come to realize, though, that there is a roughness to about half the women coming off the continent that I've met. About half. Not all, but about half. Unless you exclude the East Africans. They are, in fact, not nearly that rough. Now, Somali women can be that rough if they're provoked. I've seen that, but they don't get out. They don't start off that way just because. I have seen elder Liberian women, older than me, be very good and gentle. And I've seen Liberian women my age and younger be just wild. And they don't start stuff for the most part. But I've seen it to a certain extent. I've just seen, what I would say is I've seen them be uncouth. And I don't have time for that. Now, granted, this was in the United States. I've seen the same thing with some Sierra Leone. I met 2 Sierra Leonean women on an extended basis. One, my ex-wife used to babysit when she was younger. By the time I met her and she was a teen, she was an attitudinal bitch. Judgmental. All that stuff. The other one started off with a bunch of jokes that were designed to roast, and I didn't know her that well. So I've seen this coming out of, when I think back on this and I remember this, I've seen this. And it does largely seem to be age related. But I think back, you know what? Damn, even going back 20 years to as recently as 16 years, as recently as 14 years ago, even going back, damn, started to think and remember and realize, God damn, they've had a fuck attitude. Some of them more recently from the continent, others of them having been in the States for a long time, but I saw that filthy, stank, funky attitude. I remember one from Cote d'Ivoire, and what the ladies told me later on was that she was screwing damn everybody but her husband. I was like, what, she was cheating? And she's directly from the continent. And they were like, I remember one of the Liberian ladies told me that this lady from Cote d'Ivoire, she was the one that told me. And when I said, she's directly from the continent, how does she think she's going to get away with that? And that Liberian lady looked me in the face and said, Black, you were next. I was next. I was already Muslim and married. Why the hell would I take her up on that? So there was already the assumption that I would not even say no to a married woman. That's what the assumption was. It was bad. And when I think back to it, I'm beginning to, when I go back over this, I realize, damn, never mind. I was conditioned. Boy, look, when I realized that, I realized that I didn't have to be in my 20s. Hell, I didn't even have to be in my 30s to be reconditioned to where I wouldn't give someone of the same Bantu lineage as us another chance. It is not even because I think of black women as ugly. That is not the reason. Because of our genetic diversity, I think of us as insanely gorgeous and ugly, and in the middle, because it's such a spectrum. We have the most genetic diversity on the planet. We're the tallest and the shortest, smartest and the dumbest. We're all of this. When I look at I don't know about Central, but yeah, when I look at the Central and the West African woman, I think, you know what? There's a roughness that I have seen, except in the Northern Nigerian women. There's a roughness that I've seen, but this inferiority complex seems to be across the continent. And I can't tolerate that. And it has reconditioned me. It has taught even me that the real issue is not so much what sisters think it is, that you just don't like the looks no more. It's more like when I see certain things, I already know they're going to act like men in many cases. And even if they don't, they still going to think that zaddy is better. And that they're going to entertain this even more than some other non-black women are going to entertain it. You look at the women in the Philippines. They may marry a zaddy, but do they prefer zaddy to us? No. In many cases, they actually don't. No, they don't. Thailand, they don't prefer a zaddy to us if you take the money away. It's safe to say they don't really prefer a zaddy to us. They may prefer zaddy money, but they don't prefer a zaddy to us. Think about it. Richie Mack, he can be devoted and committed to Elle, but not actually marry on paper and live with her for years, for a long time, and she's staying. But do you understand something? Be honest with yourselves. You think a zaddy could get a deal like that? Hell no. They're not going to tolerate that from a zaddy. He can come along and be the boyfriend. Maybe he could be a sex pat. But to stay with one and not do the paperwork? Nope. They'll be like, oh, hell no, you're going to sign the paperwork and I'm taking half. Did you know that a Southeast Asian woman is probably the best and easiest route to a zaddy's money? Don't ask me how I know that. I've already told you the story. It's about where you are preferred that even I am now being reconditioned. This is not bad news for my current wife. She doesn't resemble or remind me of the women that have pretty much driven us away and told us to, ew, fit the cuck back. She doesn't do that. She does not behave like them. She does not resemble them. None of that. But I can tell you that the image of the women of our race right now around the world is not really earned by all of them. It's not that. However, because see, a lot of non-black men won't give them a chance. They will not give, a lot of non-black men will not give a black woman a chance because they're black. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't. That's not the reason to do it. I'm still firm on that. The attitude might be a reason depending on where she's from and what kind of attitude she has. But the men don't have to prefer black women or disprefer them. However, because the reality is still that, what a lot of you don't understand is that simply by abandoning them, we can then sarcastically say, "Hi, I'm Jermaine, and it's about to be all my fault." Sarcastically, we can say that because all we got to do to make it seem to them in their hearts, not their minds, but their hearts, like it's all our fault, is abandon them, because you see, there's no replacement. There is none. When it comes to fornication, some of them may be able to find, or occasionally they will find success in getting a non-black man to fornicate with them. And I say occasionally. What many of us don't know is that many of these non-black men won't even fornicate with black women. And it doesn't matter her nationality and her people's culture and any of these things. There are many who will not even accept to fornicate. There are men that are virgins and they're not willing to lose their virginity to a black woman. She got a better shot at finding a zaddy to lay down with her, as long as she ain't trying to get nothing else. She actually has a better shot there. Because truth be told, boy, a lot of these other men don't have this notion that you ain't a real man unless you bed a black woman. They don't necessarily have a notion like that. They don't. A lot of them actually have a notion that if that's all you can get in bed, what the hell's wrong with you? Arab men have this notion and they don't even hate us. But that's the notion they got. Why I gotta be a black woman? Because to them, every other woman's more attractive than the black woman. To them, the black woman's the ugliest on the planet. Hands down. Right off the bat. That's how they view it. It's so much so that when a woman is black and she's beautiful, they doubt her blackness, not her beauty. A lot of y'all didn't know that. They'll say, well, she looks like she has a mix or something. You're like, Father Mucker, she's just cute. Oh yeah, it gets like that. Yeah, a lot of sisters ain't gonna be able to find somebody to fornicate with them, and there are gonna be cases, when they can, but they're not gonna tell you about this, the failures. Just to get some peen, they're not gonna tell you about the failures when they can't even get some peen. They can't even say to one of them, hey, look, you know what? In 5 minutes, come in the ladies' bathroom. I'll lock it. You scratch the door up. I know it's you. I'll open it up. They won't even be able to get men to take them up on that. There are times when it doesn't work. They cannot. Believe me. So when you abandon them, brothers, really not abandon, but when you simply just do what they've been doing, and you go where they've been driving you, which is just away from them. You just do that. You'll see the meltdown, because they really are going to not get what it is that Nyla herself of Red Film Diaries told us, confessed to us, that women want. Attention from men. They won't get it. And if they get attention from men, it's going to be exactly the kind of attention that they don't want. Can I screw? I mean, they want attention, but they don't necessarily want it that bad. They may want the lust, but they don't want the men to feel comfortable enough to proposition them. But when you start talking about these sisters, regardless of nationality, it's going to be that or nothing. They will not be offered another option in many cases. And that's going to cause more meltdowns than we already see. And I'm telling you now, all you got to do is walk away and tell other brothers to do the same thing. Are they going to stop conceiving? No, they're going to have more non-black men's babies. Probably a little bit more. Or probably about the same. But they're going to quit. Are they going to stop trying? No, they're not. They will not stop trying. They will go for these other men. And they will try quite hard, believe it or not. They'll still conceive. They got to go to the bank or something. I don't mean where you deposit your paycheck either. I'm telling you. While there might be this shortage of our seed, they'll go and get somebody else's. I'm telling you, that's a real thing. And the whole time, it won't really be our fault because we will have merely been absent, which they have asked anyway, but we will be able to sit back sarcastically and say, it's our fault. And when someone says, really, what the hell did you do? We just sit up and say, not really anything. We just vanished. They said get lost, and we did. Hi, I'm Jermaine. You were Jermaine. It is not our fault. It was not our fault. But moving forward, let's make it our fault. Thank you for listening. As always, black heart, black mind, black out. Assalamu alaikum and black Jermaine power just because she doesn't like it. Black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day. Thank you for flying again with us on Jet Black Airways, where jet black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with us until the wings and the wheels fall off. On your way out of the jet black aircraft after we dock at the gate, should you choose to press the Cash App button, only punch in numbers that are easy to you. But I would appreciate even more if you would follow the link to the merchandise and grab some of that and help out a young SYSB man. Gender justice, Jermaine justice forever.